What if I told you your body has a secret language? That it could whisper a huge secret to you, days before any test could possibly know? Today, we're becoming detectives. We're going to decode the very first, most subtle signs of pregnancy. Let's jump in.
This is it, right? The biggest question on your mind during that agonizing wait. Can you really know? Well, the answer isn't a simple yes or no. It's actually way more interesting than that. And it's all hidden in your body's own secret timeline.
So, to crack this code, we have to start with a map of your body's internal clock. Because understanding this timeline, well, that's the absolute key to spotting any of these signs. Okay, let's just imagine a typical 28 to 32-day cycle. Day 1, your period starts. Easy enough. Then, fast forward about 2 weeks to around day 14. That's generally ovulation. But here's the moment we're really looking for, the one that kicks this whole thing off. It happens about a week later, right around day 21. That's when implantation can occur. And that brings us to our first major clue, implantation. Seriously, you can think of this as the biological starting gun. It's the moment a quiet but powerful chain reaction is triggered deep inside your body. So, what's actually happening here? Well, the fertilized embryo has been on a journey, and now it's found its destination, the nutrient-rich, cozy lining of the uterus. It begins to burrow in, to get comfortable, and as it settles in, it can nudge a few tiny blood vessels, which can trigger two very specific events. The first event is something you might actually see, implantation spotting. Now, how in the world do you tell this apart from your period starting? It really comes down to color and amount. Implantation spotting is usually a very light pink or even brown, not red, and it's super scant. We're talking just a few on and off drops over maybe a day or two. At the very same time, you might feel something, but listen, this is nothing like period pain. It's way, way more subtle. It's often described as a gentle little pull or a flutter. Some people even say it feels like a quick, light needle prick, often just on one side of your lower abdomen. So, once implantation is complete, it's like a secret alert goes out to the rest of your body. The message is received, and a massive new project begins. Your body starts churning out this incredible cocktail of hormones, and this hormonal cascade, that's what causes the next wave of symptoms. We're talking about three main players in this game. Estrogen and progesterone levels just skyrocket. But then, the real star of the show arrives, beta-HCG. That's the one you've probably heard of. It's the pregnancy hormone. It's what those home tests are designed to find, and its arrival is a game changer. So, where might you notice the effects of this hormone party first? For a lot of people, it's their breasts. Right around that 3-week mark, maybe even a bit earlier, you might notice they feel weirdly sensitive, maybe a little swollen or just fuller. I know what you're thinking, but wait, my breast gets sore right before my period. And you're totally right, but here is the secret clue, the detail that makes the difference. With early pregnancy, the changes are often focused on the nipples. We're talking extra sensitivity, maybe the areola gets a little bit darker or wider. Those specific changes aren't your typical PMS signs. This hormonal surge doesn't just stop at your body, oh no. It goes straight for your brain and your energy levels. You might feel totally weepy one minute and perfectly fine the next. And the fatigue, it is so real. This isn't just, I need a coffee tired. It's a deep, bone-weary exhaustion. That's a huge sign that your body is already working overtime on its most important job ever. Okay, so beyond that big hormonal wave, your body's actual mechanics can start to shift in some other pretty telltale ways. Suddenly feel like you're living in the bathroom? There are actually 2 reasons for that. First, all that increased blood flow means your kidneys are working harder and processing more fluid. And second, and this is kind of wild, your uterus is already starting to expand, putting just enough pressure on your bladder to make you have to go more often. And what about the famous morning sickness? Well, the more intense stuff usually kicks in a bit later, but a persistent, low-grade feeling of queasiness can absolutely start this early. It might just feel like you're a little car-sick all the time, this subtle nausea you just can't seem to shake. Okay, so you've gathered all the clues. You've been listening to your body, and you've got your suspicions. How do you go from, I think, maybe, to I know for sure? I know, it is so tempting to test early. But honestly, the most reliable, least stressful path is the simplest one. First, wait. Just wait until the day your period was supposed to start and it doesn't. Then take a regular home urine test. If you see those two distinct pink lines, that's it. That is your confirmation. Ultimately, this whole thing is about learning to listen to the unique language of your own body. Everyone's experience is a little bit different, but these are those classic early whispers that can signal the start of a whole new chapter. So the real question is, what signals is your body giving you?